So can you share how or what kind of leadership that you did or that you inculcated in the rest of your team that allows you to separate yourself out and the company still continues to grow and succeed?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the lessons that I learned from one of my mentors was the definition of the word leadership. And it might mean different to different people, but for me, it meant leading the way and creating more leaders. It meant to me understanding people, understanding their goals. Because in the end, a company is a notional thing. It's the people who run the company. So it's very important, and it's a team sport. It's not an individual thing. You cannot do it alone. You need to have right people at the right time. I also, back then, there weren't any podcasts. There weren't these social groups where you can go and talk and understand and listen and learn. So the only source was a little bit of internet, whatever information was there, and books. So I read a lot of books, and I just wanted to understand how great minds, great leaders, great CEOs worked. And one thing which stood out for me was understanding your team, identifying their challenges, identifying the people who you want to put your investment into growing. After that identification, I think it was very important to align them to the right goals. So, like, for example, in my career as the leader, I have let go people, I have requested them, and these were some talented people where I believe that my company cannot justify their talent and cannot give them, help them reach the goals that they want to. In the end, it's going to be like a failed marriage and people will not feel good about each other. But I wanted every single person to feel good about the companies that I was building. So I overcame that fear of mine, had a talk with them, helped them get better jobs through my connections in the corporate world. And even today, these guys think good about us and we are on a very good term. So I identified people whose goals matched with what we really wanted to achieve. Point number one. Point number two, after that alignment, enabling them to feel that they are empowered and they can take those decisions. Now, this was the hardest part. And that led to my journey of this transcript called Playbooks, which I have now become an expert at. So I created Playbook. I helped that guy. We did a lot of mock calls. I would sit with him, take down all the feedback, never jumped on another call in between, but I did a lot of work to help him improve. And that I could see the results. And that gave me the power that if I have right people taking care of all the important functions, then I don't really need to be doing that stuff on my own. So I started creating different departments and I started creating playbooks. The next step was to identify the right people. The next step was to empower them, train them, make sure that they get the basics. And the most important thing is to leave them on their own, give them that power. Do not intervene because human beings are driven by gut and emotion. And when it comes to decision making, it's never, no one of us knows the future. There are certain parameters on the basis of which we make a call. And my call can be very different from your call because you are sum total of your experiences, and I am of mine. So I will take call based on the experiences I have had. And it doesn't mean that I know everything. So you have to give that liberty to people to commit mistakes and learn from them and be better and execute better. Because in the end, you only have limited time and you only can create limited leaders. If you don't teach them well and they don't teach the next level, you cannot create an army. So I think that worked in my favor, creating those playbooks, putting the right people in place. And one day I felt redundant in my own company. And that's when I thought I need to do something more meaningful. So I changed my role a bit. I got into more of a strategy kind of thing and I let the execution happen. And then for strategy, you don't need your entire life of a year to do the strategy every time. That's when I started to have a lot of free time with me. And I thought it's time for me to grow and learn. That's when this second stint of learning and growing and working with other entrepreneurs and CEOs started for me.
Absolutely. I think thank you for sharing that story. There are so many wonderful lessons there, right? One is that the important role of a mentor, somebody who can show you the mirror, and also that humility to actually listen to that feedback. And then what you shared about playbooks, right? So it's so crucial to not just leave people on their own, but to empower them. And then that allows you to actually do something more meaningful. While a lot of entrepreneurs just get stuck in the business that they created. So thank you for sharing that.